Do you know the type of house you live in? It must belong to one of these three categories, according to the 2016 housing policy of Uganda. It is either temporary, semi-permanent, or permanent. This is how a permanent house looks like. And this is how a semi-permanent house looks like. However, this is how a temporary house looks like. And this is why the type of house you live in matters.
The National Housing Policy 2016 classified housing into three categories. There's housing that is temporary, and this is housing that can live 15 years and below. By quality, by specification, by location, by risks around it. A house which by design can live 25 years, and this will pitch in houses that are built with, say, unburnt bricks. You have iron sheets that are of a lighter gauge, 32 gauge. Those can live about 25 years. And those are, now the first category was temporary, this is semi-permanent, and then you have the permanent category. Houses whose by design, standard, and specification can live more than 50 years. And the litmus test for permanency is the fire test. When you have a building, when you have a house that can withstand, once it is attacked by fire, that it can give you a period of, say, 2 hours to evacuate.
Are you among those 2 million people living in permanent houses as officially classified? Officially, Uganda's permanent housing deficit vis-a-vis the population is 2.6 million houses, though it's being contested by some experts. But let's say you're one of those who wants to build a permanent house. You must contend with the reality.
What are the costs of housing? We look at the cost of putting a house in Uganda, in the context of Uganda, is really high, driven by the cost of materials. The cement, the iron sheets, the roofing nails, everything that goes into housing is very, very expensive. And that means that only few people are able to afford a house.
And moreover, for an individual, it even gets tougher.
We know that, first of all, land itself is very expensive in the urban centers. And that means that for you to save money to buy land alone, you'll take maybe 5 years. And then you take the next 10, 20 years to build a house. That's why that you find majority of us are actually not even staying in houses. We are staying in construction sites. You are staying in something, but you continue building it.
To that end, individual initiatives to reduce the deficit becomes quite insurmountable. But how about those who have the capacity to attract and invest in housing for sale?
Because if you look at how our economy is structured, largely it's informal. You have very few people with bank accounts, you have very few people operating the mainstream transactions which are recorded. It means from an analytical perspective, you can't establish and know, okay, how many Ugandans can afford a house of 50 million shillings based on their earnings per month, because people are not recording these figures. Now, when you don't record those figures, it becomes difficult to size up the opportunity using numbers. So most of the people are doing it because of gut feeling, because the population is growing, because we think middle class, people are improving, so we should put up a development. So because of our structure of the economy, it's limiting in how to get this information and make business sense out of it, which can make you make reasonable investment decisions as an investor.
If I buy a house of 300 million and I put in a tenant, pays me 1 million per month, I will need 25 years minimum.
With a tax structure that sort of treats residential development separately from commercial. And the reason I'm bringing up this, for example, if you build a house and you're buying construction materials plus VAT, when you're selling the house, you don't sell it plus VAT. VAT becomes a final cost. So the house is ordinarily 18% more expensive than a commercial building, because a commercial building, I'll recover my VAT when tenants start paying me rent.
You will not get a one-bedroom condominium apartment for less than 90 million shillings, a two-bedroomed for approximately 200 million shillings, and 300 million shillings for a three-bedroomed condominium.
Other factors, for example, It's about the income of the people we have, and also the economic activities. Usually, real estate is promoted by economic activity that people are doing, which enables them to have disposable income, extra income to spend other than on food, clothing, and education.
According to the Bank of Uganda 2022 report, nearly 50% of the 22 million Ugandans in the working bracket earn less than 150,000 shillings, and only 1% earn above 1 million shillings. So the phenomenon of permanent housing is out of reach for most working Ugandans. It doesn't get even any better for those who are renting.
Anything that is costing you more than 35% of your income, that is not affordable housing for you. Even if you're earning 10 millions, even if you're earning 1 million, even if you're earning 100,000, once you are in a house that takes more than 35% of your income on a monthly basis, that's not affordable housing.
So do you want to own a house? Then you need to overcome quite a number of odds. Joan Salmon, NTV.